Welcome to the weekend must watch on Intercut, the weekly show going through all the movies, TV, entertainment that people just can't cut away from. I'm your co-host Arturo, and joining me, it's Zachary Shevit.
What's going on, buddy? Another week, and we're back. Back and maybe better than ever. I don't know, man. We're just back, and maybe that's good enough. We're still here.
Like the eyes have awoken today. I am ready to go. We will be talking about space-based films, if you want to look at it that way, with the newest Heretic that has come out. Honestly, Zach went to go see an early screening to another movie. I'd call it a faith-based film too, because Red 1 is out, and it takes some faith to go out of your way to a theater to see that. We got the Penguin finale. We got a lot of other TV stuff, and much more to talk about here on the Weekend Must Watch on Intercut. Overall, though, besides us awakening for another day, I think it was a pretty enjoyable weekend for the most part. It is fully cold season. Got myself a new Carhartt. Already getting that new, I wouldn't call it merch, but the outfits, the suits, the work suits for Sundance, already prepared. It's comfortable, bro. I got it with the South by right now, but Carhartt, really great brand.
Yeah, rocking it. I like it. Yeah,
So
you are a bit of a vest guy. I've got my
Love
one
those.
puffy vest, but I haven't broken it out yet for this season. It's probably about that time. It's getting cold, but yeah, maybe I got to get on your level and get some more vests in my life.
We just got to get a color coordinated, like a cartoon thing from Monday to Friday. Has Alina ever showed you that lady? She bought Lady a vest, not like this one, but the puffier one that I got. She bought a one just like it. I'm like, bro, I'm not walking around looking like "Don't talk to me" or "My child" ever again. But we look a little way too identical. We got those two on, but 'tis the season, I suppose, and with that comes more movies to enjoy. And we're kind of in that middle ground right now. I think these next 2 weeks there's not really much next week, to be honest with you. Most of the big stuff's gonna be right now. Next week's damn near a break. Then it's a big week. Then it's Moana, and then it's December. It's all hands on deck for the last 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, even this week, it feels like the studio's mostly cleared out. I don't know if it was just like fear of like a presidential election hangover or whatever. I feel like a lot of people were looking for some kind of movie escape this weekend, and I don't know if Heretic is exactly the escape that everybody was hoping for, but it is an option.
I'm sure that's what Utah went to go see this weekend, bro. They were like, "Yep, that commercial that's making fun of us. Let's do it." But is it a good movie? Nonetheless, though, we'll be discussing that one here. I can already predict what we're going to be discussing with Red 1. And then some of the finales that we got from TV, some new pilot previews as well. But overall, we've been talking about a lot of the festivals that are upcoming. I don't know if you wrapped Philly already or if you ended up doing Philly or
Philly was at the end of October. Montclair also wrapped up a little bit before the end of the month. So it's dry season here. I don't know. It's funny because like with all the movies that we saw at film festivals coming out, I feel like there's a lot of stuff I've already seen, and some stuff I'll rewatch again. But it's been like I can take a little bit of a break from the movie grind right now.
That's why you do it early.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been nice. I've been breathing a little bit, consuming other forms of media, which I'll get into in my picks for the week. But
yeah. Just got to invest in it early.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
We are almost at the like height of award season, as you were talking about soon. So there's plenty of good movies like either out in theaters right now or just on the horizon to get excited about.
Yeah, not to mention a lot of good stuff that we have seen that is going to be coming out on a weekly basis, from rollouts for A Real Pain to a bunch of other things, including Nickel Boys, which is coming out at the end of the holiday season. I want to say it's a Christmas release, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of these movies, our job is to go out there, wait in lines, do all these different things so that we give you the list so that you are prepared now that it's the biggest movie season. So with that, a big shout out to the chat as well. I know Zach's going to bring up the patrons right now to give them an early shout out, but big thanks to Josh, who's in the chat. A big thanks to Max Sloth, who said, "I love when Intercut goes live." That's right now. I'm excited to hear 2025 Sundance coverage. The lineup usually announces in December. I'm also excited for you to run down your top anticipated films of 2025. It's a huge film year. I agree completely. 2025 and 26. It's almost like there was a strike and all the films are ready to come out, right?
Yeah,
and then there's on top of that, there's something in the water. And then there's all the ones that were scheduled for that. 25 is gonna be big.
I've got a lot of hopes for next year. I'm really hoping things are going to be keeping us entertained, keeping us live, giving us some life in the year
Mission
2025. And
Impossible, new
man, yeah,
Superman.
I mean, my guy Paul Thomas Anderson's got potentially
You got
his
another one?
most expensive movie in the works.
This one. Wait, the one with him and
Leo,
Tiana?
yeah, and Leonardo
Okay,
DiCaprio, of course.
that's this one. That's this year, or
I think it is next year because they've already stopped or finished shooting. So
Bong Joon-ho
yeah,
also got moved next year. Hey, I'll take
mhm,
all the auteurs, all the big blockbusters, and I think more than ever, I'm prepared. I'm prepared even for the disappointments.
definitely.
I have
But
learned to just be excited to get whatever we're given.
exactly, right? Like Megalopolis and other films have shown that we can have a good time even when not everybody is having a good time.
Even when it's not the greatest, we can enjoy the bits and pieces that are there that make it memorable. So,
Yeah.
and among them, all of those, we will still scope out the best of the best. But what was the best of the best this week?
Well, do we want to give that quick shout out
Oh,
before
give him a
we
shout
move
out for
on?
sure.
Yeah. So thanks to Max for bringing up our future coverage. We do have Sundance on the horizon, and of course, like year-end coverage, beginning of year coverage. I'm already putting together that 2025 anticipated outline right now. But like Max, we got to thank the rest of the people who are helping support the show, the patrons whose names you can see on the screen right now. Thanks as always to them. In the Academy tier, they are Tushar, Cademan, Connor, May, Ricky, Joe, Wiley, Benji, Matt, Jeremy, and Michael, I guess. And the producer level patrons are Toon, Brandon G, and Josh. And also a special shout out to somebody who I haven't had a chance to put into the graphic yet, but our newest producer level patron, Bleepy. Welcome, Bleepy, to the Intercuties. A huge thanks to your recent message. It was really great to read your support of the show, and yeah, we really just appreciate all the continued support from people who support us, whether they are right here on YouTube and they've clicked the join membership button below the video, or if you're you're listening later, you can head over to patreon.com/intercutpod and support the podcast for as little as $3 a month in order to get behind the scenes info, scoops regarding our upcoming coverage, and an invitation to our monthly Intercutie video meetings. The next one, which is probably happening like a week or two. We got to schedule that one.
Around there, for sure. What Bleepy say though? You can't leave the people hate. You can't bleepy.
Yeah, right. I should have had this on deck or in the outline or something. It was heartfelt. We'll
We'll bring it up at the bottom of the show. We'll keep people
Here we
anticipating.
go. I got it. As far
It's like super personal.
I truly enjoy your content and knew almost immediately that I wanted to get on board with however I could support. I'm a newer listener of the podcast. As far as my favorite episodes, I really like The Weekend Must Watch. I enjoyed the main M. Night bracket as well, but my number one so far is probably your discussion on horror movies in a golden age. So thank you for the feedback, and shout out to that episode we did with Lee not too long ago. That was a great one. But yeah, the reminder that if you like the content and want to let us know what we should be making more of, the best way to do that is reaching out through patreon.com/intercutpod, or leaving us a comment, sending us a message. You can hop over to our Discord, which has a link in the description of this episode, where we keep the chat going throughout the week. Shout out to another longtime patron of the podcast, Julieta, who just jumped in the chat.
What's up, Julie? All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Big thank you to all of you supporters, all of those who leave us those 5 stars, all that good stuff, so that we could talk about movies like Heretic, which is out in cinemas everywhere. I had told Zach last week that I had a very interesting screening because they had a smell-o-vision. Right when this man pops out with that candle that's supposed to be a blueberry scent, we actually got hit with some blueberry pie. It was fine. It was decent. It wasn't that bad. But it made it pretty immersive. It wasn't until the Mormons followed me home, Zach, that I realized they were taking it a little too far. The newest movie, Heretic, is A24's addition to their horror canon that's supposed to be this intellectual horror. If we're going back to that horror episode that we did, everyone's always talked about elevated. Well, everyone's on the same level at this point, trying to make something out of their horror movie that's more than jump scares, then we're all on the same plane. This is a movie where both directors said, and I heard this like literally just a couple days ago, where they wanted to replace the jump scares, Zach, with intellectual punchlines. Did they get you?
Ooh.
in the discussion? Did you see the lines coming?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I wouldn't say that this movie is like exactly a religious masterclass or like a seminar worthy discussion, but I think, especially for a mainstream released horror movie, there's a lot of like very interesting dialogue and
Yeah.
debates on uh, different religions and commonalities and stuff like that. It's stuff that, like, if you have a passing interest in it, you've probably like seen a YouTube video or like been passed an article from somebody
I
on it.
had
Like,
an
it's not,
uncle tell you, break this
yeah,
down.
yeah, like there's interesting stuff in the film for sure, but I wouldn't say any of it like changed my understanding of religion, and I wouldn't exactly say that I'm like a religious scholar. I think you have a deeper education in religion than I do. How did you interpret the religious dialogues in Heretic?
First and foremost, my main thing is to follow the characters. I think people
Yeah,
forget that you need to be fully invested in the characters and the world that's happening before you have these conversations that feel like they're outside of the movie and for the audience, right?
right.
Because this man's got like a PowerPoint presentation. He names you a song that's like Creep. He's got that thing on the disc jockey playing.
Mhm.
This man's got Monopoly boards. He's got all of these different things to explain things to you.
Yeah, and
And
it's clever.
it's
Like
intriguing,
it's a
right?
fun way of putting these ideas together.
For sure. Right off the bat, I do think it's an enjoyable movie. I think it's a
Hmm.
fun thriller. I think the dialogue, while it doesn't hit all the marks that it wants to, I, I see what they were going for, and I think this is up there for what they were going for A Quiet Place, that it had a lot more visceralness in terms of not
Yeah.
something they directed but wrote, in terms of its scares. Here it's like you're trapped in there. Are you going to be able to get out? And I thought the actresses did a good enough job with that, and a lot of their turmoil and what they're bringing into it, because they're both supposed to be these missionaries who are sent to this random house, right, Zach, in order to be able to discuss with this guy who's requested the information. So he's kind of like asked for them to be there. And I think it's the setup that is both interesting, but there's so many holes in there that it makes you wonder, wait, how would they not have already been prepared for this and that? And theologically speaking, he doesn't like them being liars, but what's the whole setup starting with the candle and everything else? That I don't know. I felt a little bit of a push and pull from it to fully enjoy it, because the same holes that this man is trying to pick in their religion, I started kind of seeing it in the script sometimes.
Right, right. Like I don't know if there is sort of like an imbalance between the depth of religious knowledge and also vindication that these characters feel and display, and I guess the way that the film is sort of written for more of like a casual audience to be able to go along with
Bad.
and interpret, right? Like, yeah, but like I do think that it ultimately leaves things feeling a, a little bit surface level. Like I kept sort of waiting for the film to go deeper and not just like literally deeper into
Yeah.
the house, but like
Good
just
production
just
design, I think.
to mine a little bit deeper and push you know push some taboos or something like that. It just sort of it for a movie called Heretic, it's I found it pretty interesting that to me it's not even as bold of a take on Catholicism as Conclave is,
Yeah.
like it's just it I think when so much of modern horror is like unafraid to go to these pretty depraved places, and you're marketing the film on this idea that it is this sort of like religious freakout movie in a way. I just kind of expected. I think I wanted it to get bigger. I wanted it to do a little bit more. It felt, I don't know if it was that I wanted it either to go more intellectual or to be a little bit more like they're in Saw but with religion. But I kind of felt like it was trying to have it both ways, and it made for a pretty entertaining film. Like I'm feel like I'm being pretty critical of something that I enjoyed and engaged with. I just also didn't take away much from it either.
Right? Like, you don't want to see a sequel in this religious Saw universe after this,
Not
because
particularly, no.
even when you're kind of like watching it, because it is kind of split into two halves, them
Mhm.
entering and having these philosophical, intellectual, religious questions and all these metaphors that he's bringing up towards them. And then the second half would be what you kind of see in the trailer of like, which door are they going to choose? What is going to be this maze that they get out of, perhaps? And
Right.
to me, I just kept seeing the puzzle piece that was the script that they tried to put together. A character says something to you early on in the movie about what she thinks about the afterlife, and you just know it's going to happen in the second half, no
Mhm.
matter what. And to me, it's like, that to me is so apparent in a puzzle piece script that it does not matter what this character, an atomic bomb will go off, that character will have that moment in the second half. And boy, do they. To what effect? I don't know, to me, because it gets very convoluted towards the end of trying to make you as a viewer doubt something, of you trying to figure out, hey, is this man kind of creating his own little game in
Mhm.
where you can maybe see it as something like Saw, where he's trying to get something out of them, or is he trying to create his own religion as it starts posing all these questions of what is the difference with all these iterations, right? Like you had mentioned Catholicism right now with Conclave. I don't know how much the Mormons see themselves as that, if not another branch, just because they came over here.
Mhm.
And I thought that that was, while it's a conversation I've heard many times, you've got this denomination split from this denomination, split from this denomination. He brings up a really good point that they only do those things just so that they can control you, right?
Right.
Someone will do a different version of the Intercut podcast with something else just because they know, okay, this is the only thing the boys are missing. Let me do a variation of that and I can pick up some subs. The whole layout for that, even when he's describing games to music and all that stuff, bro, I wanted an hour of that.
Yeah.
We get his presentation of it, and then that's it. So then he gets into this realm where you're asking me, how much do I know this? Man, I know the other conversation he forgot to have. He starts kind of showcasing to you that the figure of Jesus, which most religions over here in the Western world really follow, in the Eastern world, like from Osiris, Horus, all of these different Vishnu, they all have iterations of the Jesus story and them being resurrected and the such. But
Mhm.
the next thing would be is
Many are theorized to have been born on December
on
25th, stuff
December
like that.
25th.
Yeah.
But also no, like there's actually, that's also not the case either. So it felt like he just found that one bit. I thought I was
Right.
gonna get like a what is it, Kirk Cameron saving Christmas. This is why you shouldn't listen to the Bible telling you not to cut trees. He didn't mean that, and it felt a little weird. I think the approach that we have to covering religion in movies gets split in two ways. There's a horror director who I feel every time they cover religion, they really just don't like Christianity. So they'll be like, religion's so bad, and then they got like a Muslim main character, and it's like, well, like all religion should go there. Clearly, you had an
Mhm.
issue with like a Christian youth camp here, and I think Amanda was the one who said this, and I kind of agree with her. You can tell they have a lot more respect for religion. That having a name like Heretic in a movie where you never really get like that blasphemous,
Right.
I don't know. I think you feel it, and you feel it from two girls, which I found out they brought a lot of their upbringing because they were supposedly both Mormon, raised in
Mhm.
the church as well before becoming
Yeah.
actors.
And there also is something like a little bit, I don't know if cowardly is the right word, but like not brave in featuring Mormons specifically, I think too.
Why?
A subgroup that has already been the subject of a massively
Fair, okay.
successful Broadway musical that pokes fun at the religion. Like I feel like
Mentioned in the movie also, right?
yeah, mentioned in the movie also, right?
I
Like I
get it. They're
feel
a
like if
punching
you're
bag.
really
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, right? Like it's a little bit punching down, and I think
Mm,
what could make this movie feel a little more like heretical, blasphemous, whatever you want to say, is kind of poking at some bigger targets, or like
yeah.
pull at that Jesus thread a little bit more, because
Something like
there's
that.
more. If you want to get like conspiracy theory, connect the dots with it, like there's stuff there's
There's a
stuff that
bunch
you
of
can
stuff
put
you
in
could do there.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, are we approaching this a little bit too intellectually? Because we
No,
both have
because
an
that's what presented to us.
right, right. I
I wouldn't
guess.
care. I'd look the other way. But
Yeah,
y'all were telling me it was this, and the second half becomes some goofy mousetrap thing that made no sense.
yeah, yeah. I feel
Because
like
then, like
those.
you're saying, not only are you punching down, but you're saying he specifically scopes out Mormons because he thinks they're the easiest ones to play around with.
Mhm.
Like the second half, because we're not going to get into spoilers here, is so goofy what he's created in this house that I found it to be the dumbest. Like, there's a possibility for that to work on what he's created with these women. but I think it makes the women look really dumb. There were several points in the movie where he's
Yeah.
arguing with Sophie Thatcher in particular, and she has like one response where she goes, "And you think it's this, but you think it's that." And I'm like, this girl should have defended herself way more. They talked about not being able to take down what's his name. Man, nah, I've seen Sophie survive in the woods. I think she could have taken him. What's her name gets the legs. I don't know. He was still a little bit of an older man.
She isn't her character from Yellow Jackets in this exactly,
Oh.
but I still hear you. There's two of them. There's one of him, and Hugh Grant isn't exactly a spry young guy anymore. Although
That's what I'm saying.
Although like he still can make boom and swoon, as proven by my Twitter feed. I think you talk about some of those like moments where you question the characters and specifically the ways in which they almost feel like artificially trapped. And I think there is this kind of like thing about the movie that doesn't always work for me, where it's so reliant on them delivering the exact right piece of dialogue in a way that
What
doesn't,
I'm saying.
yeah, that just
Yes.
doesn't feel organic. But I think it mostly works in like a following the logic way, largely off of those performances, off of Sophie Thatcher, Chloe East, and particularly Hugh Grant is just like so much
He is great in
fun
the
to
movie.
watch in this movie.
He said there was a lot of deleted scenes. He goes, "Nah, I said a lot of funny stuff, and that wasn't in there." And I think that may be where you and I are getting that push and pull of like, are we supposed to be looking at this intellectually?
Right.
I think he was making a comedy. I think he was pressing buttons, but for the most part, I have heard that you can recut this entire movie to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then the girls are in a thriller.
Yeah,
So.
and there's that a kind of imbalance there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you feel it definitely throughout the movie, specifically because there is a grand plan at play. And at certain points, this grand plan is literally manufactured in the way the Joker in The Dark Knight was just having bombs go off. And he got like really lucky that people were in the right place at the right time. You were talking about reciting certain lines to get the movie to go forward. Turns out there is like a whole subplot where someone does need to repeat a monologue written for them, and they may or may not go off script. And it's like, oh, okay, bro. I don't know. There's too many pieces that needed to fall into place, which again is this kind of interplay of like a modern religion. But for the most part, like I just wanted it to hit a little bit better. I'm looking forward to rewatching it, especially when I can pause on certain things, because like I mentioned, there's a lot of production design, a lot of books on the walls and such, because he's supposed to be beyond Christianity. This man is supposed to be a scholar of so many different things. He's been doing this for a while. And I wanted to see more of that built up. I don't see a sequel in the future, but I don't know. These boys have been able to turn some pretty big franchises into ongoing series, which means they were able to get the money for this one. So I don't know. There is a chance that they do a prequel, they do something else in order to.
Yeah, I was about to say like there's more room for a prequel than there's a sequel. Like
because the prequel would also answer a lot of the buildup for how he got here, which is what I think we're missing. This is one of those movies where they had all the discussions and they forgot that all of that conversation is the interesting part, and they just gave you the results of the conversation. Isn't it crazy that people come and then they'll just spew what he says in Heretic, like your religion just comes from here. Well, I want to see all the other little things that you guys found out. Everything else besides the Monopoly board and such. I think that would have been more fascinating, but
definitely.
Nonetheless, I personally, like, with all the negative stuff that I've hit it, I am between a 3 and a 3.5 because of his performance. I'd be more confident with the 3.5 if the second half was stronger, but I really did not care for the second half. I thought that was the worst part.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you. It does sort of lose me once you get like another layer into the house. Robert in the live stream saying that he also thought the ending was a bit weak. Yeah, I don't know. I'm comfortable going 3 stars on this at on the Intercut account if you are.
Yeah, we'll stick with that. I on a rewatch, I might give it the extra half, but 3 stars for right now should be good. What'd you get out of the movie at the end of it too? Like, what was the lesson?
That like maybe we don't know anything. Like what's the? I don't know, man.
I wouldn't consider this a spoiler.
Didn't work for me.
But there was one thing in particular where he was kind of saying like, there are people who will follow you like sheep, and he's just kind of like proving the point. It's like when people like they'll put a virus or something on a company, so that they could be hired for IT. They're like, see, your firewall was vulnerable. I just showed it to you. Hire me. I feel like that's the scumbag he's become. This wolf in sheep's clothing, who is like, see, you guys were willing to fall for anything, so I just started creating a lot of propaganda for you guys to fall for. And I don't know, they wouldn't fall for it if you weren't putting it out there. And I don't know, I think those are some of the dumbest villains, in my opinion. It's just someone who wants to be smarter than the other person while creating the exact same, I don't know, area of control. But he was funny for what he was supposed to be. Maybe he's more good looking than he is intellectually there, but seems like he got away with it for a while. If you've seen it, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Let me know your theories, what takes you would have on it, what things you may think are worth looking out for on a rewatch. I know they were playing it at the Music Box. The boys have been doing their run because they're co-writers, co-directing the thing.
Woods.
Yeah, they were there for the Q&A. I think they seem like chill dudes. I know 65 was a movie that they were able to make where they did not want anyone to know they were dinosaurs. They kind of got screwed over there.
Yeah, I do feel
one.
like I admire the attempt here in Heretic. Even
For sure.
if not everything really works for me. Like it's a cool idea at the very least.
I like the lenses that they use, especially.
Yeah, they seem like they can make the jump to director.
Bro, let me know. Did they really lose to this damn Christmas movie? Because I saw this headline pop out.
Listen, the polls, the pollsters, they you can't always trust them. They don't always know. They predict one thing and the people go the other way. It happens all the time. You know, they discounted the power of the red states.
Nope. Recount, Zach. Recount. Stop it. It started all over. First of all, Venom. Like how? How is
Venom still number one in the box office?
What is it doing, bro?
The best Christmas pageant just narrowly looks like it beat out Heretic for that number 2 slot.
Some people can see the poster. Yeah, some people may not know it. I know this played at Tribeca, bro. I remember when you had the account on, and I was like, "What is this doing at Tribeca?"
It has a better cast than I expected. I mean, I like Judy Greer and like Barinholtz, but yeah,
it's not a bad trailer either. It's just like, damn, this movie came out of nowhere.
Oh man, yeah. I think we might have lost Art for a second here. But yeah, it just sort of, if it wasn't for going to see movies at AMC, I don't think I'd even know about this film. Like its online presence seems like nil, but they I guess put trailers in the right places. Yeah, I feel like Art didn't see Best Christmas Pageant ever.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, they rang the jingle bells on me for talking smack, but I did not see this one either, dude. I thought this was gonna go straight to VOD since you and I always discuss the Tribeca stuff and how,
right.
I mean, technically that's usually a VOD premiere state type thing,
right?
But hey, good for them. I mean, that's narrow, bro. That's a very narrow lead.
Yeah, I mean that's might even be like a rounding error to win at the box office by less than 100,000. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, might have to catch up with it, I guess, then. Your camera is still off, even though we hear you. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm trying to boot it back up. I'm going to have to speak in...
Everybody can just look at me. I look at all the stuff on my set. You know,
boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Zach streams coming true right there. Everybody look. Everybody stare. All right, I'm going to try to...
I'm feeling too perceived. Yeah.
But you're going to have to take this next one anyway while I fix it because I told y'all we had an early screening. I'm going to let y'all know what the early screening is for this week as well. Chances for you to be able to get something so you're up ahead of it before the next week and must watch and all your friends, which is really the important part. And Zach said, you know what? I'm going to be there. Yeah. I'm going to get there.
I'm going to take one for the team.
Went to go see the Sunday Red one. Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I was watching football. I think a busted parlay might still be more enjoyable than Red One, but Zach, I got my tickets for this Thursday. Give me some hope.
Can you return them? Is it too late?
Yeah, can I get my money back with A-list, please?
Oh man, where to start with Red One? Look, so this is a new Christmas movie directed by Jake Kasdan. We talked about this last week. Like Kasdan's not the worst filmmaker out there. Like there's certainly a lot of people I would like consider more hackish than Jake. You know, he's made a few movies that I enjoy, from Jumanji to Walk Hard. This just has the vibe of like the worst direct to streaming faux blockbuster garbage out there, yet somehow it is getting released into theaters wide next weekend.
That's nice.
I don't really get it. This is a Red Notice movie if I've ever seen one. It has many of the same words and letters in it.
Yeah.
And even The Rock. To me, this was like, you remember Tim Allen's The Santa Claus?
Good movie.
It's like, yeah, it's like if the Russo brothers made that one. There's sort of this like fun what if Santa was like the head of state world building stuff that feels like designed to appeal to little boys and like the dads who grew up from being little boys, but it all just is buried under really ugly hyper realistic CG in a way that makes it look like a lot of, you know, modern spy thrillers. It's so like full of superfluous blockbuster action sequences that kind of go nowhere, like useless fight scenes that don't have tension, don't have creative choreography, just kind of feel like they're filling runtime. And it, most of all, I think it just feels like a real big miscalculation of a movie. I mean, what business does a movie that's this saccharine, a movie that's like about the spirit of Christmas, what business does that have being rated PG-13? Why is this movie like a bloated $200 million blockbuster starring The Rock? It feels like there's like a more modest kind of snuggly film waiting inside this one. You know, you spend $30 million on it and you cast John Cena, somebody who is a little bit better at eliciting laughs from this kind of a property. I feel like it might have worked or at least been passable, but this is just so like stiff and filled with this like really ugly kind of like chuffa that I don't know, man. It really it just took me out. I got very bored with it, even if I didn't find it to be that offensive. And a big problem is also like just the casting of Chris Evans in this thing. He's like genetically predisposed against being able to play like losers. It's the same problem that he had in that the straight to Apple TV one with Ana de Armas, Ghosted, where like he puts on this vaguely regional accent, so he's supposed to seem like a regular guy, but he's just has a face that doesn't look like somebody who's ever been like unsuccessful at the thing that he's tried. It's just like it just feels all really phony, all really fake. It's not funny, it's not clever. Like it feels like this movie that's designed to be for everybody, but ends up being for no one.
Yikes. So pass.
Pass. Yeah, big pass. I mean, I don't want to like I can see why people who would just like be looking for mindless garbage will have a decent time with this one, because like there's a cute idea at the core of this movie. It's just like not done compellingly at all. It's very forgettable.
Did you get to see it in Dolby, Prime, any of those big ones?
I went Dolby. You know me, I like a good audio experience.
And not even the shakiness of it, at least the sound design?
Nah, I mean it's not. I wouldn't say the sound design is particularly compelling in this film. I don't know if they're paying that much attention.
Damn. Well, this one is coming out next week. It literally is like the only thing coming out as well.
Yeah.
This was one where they had released it a little bit early, like Zach said, on Sundays to be able to get some early buzz, if you want to call it that. But even with the early buzz, I remember Zach talking about the fact that this was a movie that during the election is when they got rid of the embargo.
Yeah, literally the review embargo was up Tuesday evening at 9 p.m., basically like around the time that some most of the states were getting called. So
That's crazy.
I mean, as somebody who literally like it follows a bunch of film critics online, I wasn't even seeing reviews of Red One. It was all getting buried.
Maybe that was their way of saying like, hey, we are, you know, the swing states that went red. They were like, we are Red One. It was like an anthem for them. Who knows?
Exactly, right. They were giving out this like the filmmakers want your feedback on Red One thing with like a QR code to a $5 gift card, which I'd never seen this at a movie before.
Okay, and did it work?
I mean, I got a gift card. So I guess if you really want one, like you can scan your screen now. I don't know if it's over, but
Red one, terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
they're,
cool.
they're basically bribing people into feedback now. I know they do focus groups.
No. They pay you for your time, bro. I ain't falling for that one. You gonna pay me for my time.
Hey, look, if anything, this be proof that you can't buy me for $5. 10, maybe. 5,
10,
forget about
5,
it.
absolutely not. 10, your movie's fresh.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Shoot me a DM.
Oh, hey, whatever percent you want, 71, that's how many buckaroos we need in the card right now, okay? Red one out in theaters this weekend. It should look better than my camera. I'm going with the secondary one over here. But from what I've seen in that trailer,
we just want you to hang out with us.
It's so goofy. I'm not looking forward to it. I think that is the dumbest looking polar bear.
Yeah. Well,
was there one funny joke? Was there like a streak of something that was like, okay,
like maybe a cute idea or two, but definitely not.
When the movie ended and you were leaving with your $5 gift card, that it.
Well, it's two things. One, it's all of this like ugly, gross, dark, hyper realistic CGI. Like that polar bear. Like, just give me a cute polar bear. Why can't I have a cute polar bear in my Christmas movie? They have elves.
You got to be cool, Zach.
They have elves in this movie that like are the stuff of nightmares. They look like rats from Pan's Labyrinth or something. Like, this is supposed to be a kids movie for families. Like,
PG-13, bro, is the mighty kids meal of Christmas movies.
Why? So they say
they need it too.
Shit 3 times. Just come out.
He's made the same movie since forever. Jumanji, Black Adam. It's all made for The Rock at 13 years old, and he's never changed his mind.
Yeah. There's a big GQ cover story with him right now where he's apparently talking about his upcoming Benny Safdie A24 movie and how he's really enjoyed getting challenged by that script, and he's going to look for more challenging scripts. Anything to keep him away from movies like Red One and Red Notice. Just what? Yeah. He's been good in movies, just not anytime recently.
Him and Ryan Reynolds are on the exact same path, in my opinion. Reynolds even more so, because I believe he could do something outside of it. But The Rock has this charisma to do other different things. And it's always the same bit over and over again. I'm excited. I've heard some criticism for the Safdie film, but I'm excited for it because I want him to do something different. To me, and I don't even like the movie like that, but I respect the disgustingness of Pain and Gain. I think that's one of The Rock's best roles.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the best Michael Bay movie. Sure.
That's him committed. No, I still got to go with The Rock, bro.
I get it, but I think Pain and Gain's pretty great.
From his latter half of his career?
Like, maybe even on accident, I think Pain and Gain is incredible.
Pain and Gain is disgustingly good. That's why, because it's like there's such despicable people, but he never shies away from it. It's such a rare thing to see in movies.
Yeah,
it's like
it's kind of Bay's Wolf of Wall Street in a way.
Fair, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I want to see him I want to see him do more roles like that, where he's not afraid to be scummy or be weak. Right? These emotional spectrums that they never reach. It's like, it's okay for you to be a little bit of a loser. That allows you to then look even cooler when you do make it. I'm not going to explain story to these guys, but someone needs to, because this does not look like he's going to be tracking well.
Yeah. I will say one thing though. Kind of feels like Jake Kasdan is backdoor pitching himself for Ant-Man 4 with the fight scenes in this movie. I'll just leave it at that. Let me know what you think.
That's terrible.
Yeah. You mentioned Ryan Reynolds. Did you see that the Academy asked him and Hugh Jackman to host the Oscars this year and they turned it down?
Really?
Yeah. How do you feel about that idea? Hugh Jackman obviously was a host before.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. You know, I was watching Saturday Night Live, and John Mulaney's like, I'm on here for the 57th time. 57th time, John Mulaney. Get new people. I'm sorry. These are annual shows. I get, like, that streak of Jimmy Kimmel for 4 years.
I think it was like 3 in a row and they brought him back, maybe.
Nah. Give me new people.
Yeah.
Well, now, Ryan I get Reynolds it because it's
would be new in a way.
Yeah, but you wouldn't like him.
Me personally, no, but there's hundreds of millions of people out there who disagree with my opinions on Deadpool and Wolverine.
For what? And what are those thousands of opinions that you're going to be reading on Oscar night who are also going to feel like you? Why is this this schmuck talking about movies that he'll never make? At least Jimmy Kimmel made sense, because it's like, I interview all of you guys on the press tour to this. We will be looking at this man like, what are you doing up there, bro?
Mhm.
Just keep Hugh. And we already had Hugh.
Yeah.
We already did his whole dance and everything. I don't want to see him do another I am Wolverine. It's like you did it once, that was good.
Yeah.
We still got the clip. Who else? There's gotta be someone else.
Yeah. Beats me, but
You know,
maybe
I got one actually.
yeah.
Well, show me yours. Who do you got?
I was gonna say the Lonely Island guys. I've been listening to that podcast. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more later.
That would be funny. I just don't think they have a better luck maybe doing a Globes or something by accident. Like
Yeah.
they just really waited till the last
Sandberg's
minute.
done the Emmys, I'm pretty sure.
Who?
Sandberg's done the Emmys, I'm pretty sure.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. But that's what I mean. And I think they would do a much better job there. The
Yeah.
Oscars is like creme de la creme, which is why I think you need to have someone with pizzazz, someone who can really get stuff out there. And that's why I think they should have Colin Farrell in full penguin makeup doing it for the Oscars. Did you ever catch up on anything else in the show?
I'm still pretty far behind, but I
decided to just binge it all. I'm on that 7th episode, 8th
That'll be me
episode,
this
whatever it
week.
was. Yeah, and then like it wraps up last night. So I knocked out to the last episode and was able to catch up on the Penguin. I know we were both kind of iffy on it a little bit at the beginning, wondering like, yo, is this just trying to cosplay The Sopranos? Because I already got The Sopranos on the same channel.
Right.
And look, I'm gonna give it a lot of praise. I'm gonna talk about the stuff that I enjoy. I really did ask myself, like, I was watching one of the scenes and I'm like, would I ever compare this to Soprano? And I laughed. I couldn't even finish the sentence. There is absolutely no reason, as a fan of the Penguin, that you should ever put in the same sentence the Penguin and the Sopranos. It's not even close. It's almost embarrassingly bad. And I like the Penguin. It just shows you the difference between the two. This is like baby's first mafia show. And I don't mean that meanly. I really don't. But damn, there'll be stuff that happens in the Penguin that is, and that's what's crazy. It's way too much for some of the stuff we've seen in superhero movies. But it's not The Sopranos. Yeah. It's this middle ground place where, like the Joker, which got a lot of criticisms for it not being as good as the King of Comedy, but it was a decent attempt, I guess, for those who have never seen it. That's what I see this kind of being as well. And I was a little conflicted with the ending. I'm not going to lie. Once you catch up with it, I'm curious to know your thoughts here. But I think maybe we can good.
Maybe next week we can get a little more in depth in it because I'll catch up if you think I should.
Just because I feel like they're going to be talking about this show towards Emmy season, maybe especially for the makeup and such. And I do think he does a good job. I also think our girl does a great job as playing what really is the villain.
Kristen Milioti. Yeah.
I went back, saw that episode you were talking about. I think you had to have mentioned it because it's 30 Rock. And she had name dropped it in some interview. She was like, yeah, when I played the baby girl, this woman's ridiculous, bro.
She's so good. Yeah.
She's so funny.
So versatile, so willing to like make a big choice and commit to it in a way that doesn't feel like goofy or just big for no reason, like loud for no reason. I think she like fully embodies characters and tries to make every role she takes feel a bit unique.
I think she's done it with this one too. I think she is probably one of the best parts of the show. I think that the characters themselves, especially what the actors bring in, are all really solid. From Colin Farrell to her, even the kid who plays Victor, the mom as well. They're just trapped in this world that is trying to also appease the comic fans and then trying to make this really gritty TVMA thing. But for the most part, I don't think you need to be the biggest of comic fans. It was more jarring to me once you get into that ending where you start seeing things where it's like, oh, that's right. The check boxes right there. For the most part, you got the story of the Penguin and his backstory when he used to have brothers and really how he's a mama's boy who's willing to do anything for his mama and how he's trying to climb up on the ranks and screw everybody over. I really appreciated seeing a DC show where our main character is a scumbag with a capital SCUM and bag, bro. This guy sucks. And then you have somebody who's trying to go up against him in Kristen Miliotti's character. And I thought she did an incredible job. There is one particular scene where everyone starts like kind of going on her side. And there's this one dude played by, I want to say his name's Theo. Yeah, Theo Rossi. This man becomes a pleb for her. Like just straight up goes, Sophia, whatever you want. And I could see so many fans watching it just going, Sophia, whatever you want. I saw a lot of people turning this from the Penguin into the Sophia Falcone show, or he got into, depending on how you look at it. But I'm curious your thoughts. I don't think you're going to be blown away by it, but I do think you'll be intrigued.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it
and it's
seems
not the
like
Batman.
a pretty well done show, but like ultimately this is like brand extension and stuff, right? And I feel like
Yep.
there's certain handcuffs on a show like this that will always maybe like cap its ceiling, at least to me. But maybe I'm just speaking from a place of not having seen it. I don't know.
Do you
I'm
see Dune
yeah.
Prophecy with the ladies
Mhm.
coming up, also on HBO? Do you see that as brand extension?
I do. I like ultimately right. This exists because the Warner company wants there to be more Dune. They want to capitalize on the success of those Denis Dune movies. And like, maybe this one has a little bit more of a reason to exist because they have a lot of source material to pull from. But it's not like Villeneuve is that intimately involved with the production as he once was rumored to
Mhm.
be. The
That's a little worrisome to me too, by the
right,
way. Yeah.
like
Yeah, to me, yeah.
the further you get away from like the guy who actually
Who
made it
did it?
good, right? Like the less compelled I am
What's the
to
point?
see it. And
Yeah.
look, I this isn't to say that I don't think Dune Prophecy is going to be good. It might be good. It might even be great. I
Yeah.
just kind of think like there's a reason The Sopranos is the Sopranos, and that the Penguin is like The Sopranos, right? Like
Exactly.
it's the show that's supposed to remind you of it, but it's not the
Yeah.
thing.
My only thing is, you remember when people were going like, "Yo, this is like Winter Soldier." It's like, nah, 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 nah. What was the Winter Soldier like, boy? You never know when it's going to become the new threshold for people,
Right.
when that's going to be the point of reference. I still enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. Conflicted on the ending, I'm not going to lie, but I really liked Victor's episode. I want to say it was like episode 5 or 6, where they do a flashback to what happened to him from the first movie. And I do think the first movie is important to watch just because of the aftermath of the flooding that happens in the Batman and
Right.
how a lot of these characters have to deal with it. Again, I think it's very enjoyable in a lot of different ways. I'm struggling between a 7 and an 8 in terms of an IMDb rating, but overall, I would recommend it. Just it's sometimes terrible to compare some of the stuff to masterpieces, because then you're watching a scene, you recall a scene from those glorious, what is it, 6 seasons of The Sopranos, and you're like, man,
Mhm.
it's not even close, bro. Once I exit the app, I'm gonna see a Sopranos banner and be reminded, nah, it's not even
Or you
close.
finish the episode and it says you might also like.
You might also like, no, I think I might also love that more than
Right,
this, but
right.
I still think it's worth watching, especially if you're a comics fan. You're going to think this is like incredible
Mhm.
if you have not seen The Sopranos or something else like it. But if you have, I think you're going to see this as diet light, maybe.
Right.
But I don't think it should take away from it completely. I'm curious to see how they're going to tie it in for the Batman 2, because I do think
Yeah.
you were a big The Batman fan, or
Yeah, I
more of a
liked it
fan
quite
at
a
least.
bit. I mean, you obviously are the Batman head amongst the two of us, but I enjoyed myself some Matt Reeves Batman, some R
Yeah.
bats, R bats.
Our
Um,
pets?
yeah. I got two questions related to the
Shoot.
Batman to you. I saw a lot of people talking about the idea that Batman's presence doesn't loom large enough in the show. I don't know if that changed towards the finale. Is that a criticism you share? Is that something you don't think is that big of a deal?
I don't think he's bad that he's not in the show, because it allows the characters that we do have to grow. The problem is this is a Batman show, and the whole idea is that he ain't a rookie. This ain't the Joker where he's still a kid, right?
Mhm.
This is the Batman that we just saw whoop ass in a movie, beating up people on the streets. And now you got mob dealers doing. Where is he?
Mhm.
Don't answer it, I'm sure, but it does leave you kind of going like, "Hey, I'm good with him not being here. Let the characters go." But just like a Marvel thing. Ain't no way none of this happened, and Iron Man didn't send a suit. like
Yeah.
nothing. There was no
Yeah.
control here. It
Or
is
no
just
one's talking
full
about
time
him
down.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it then does get brought up without getting too much into spoilers. But yeah,
And
that's
then on that note, then like how does this affect your anticipation for the Batman 2? I know Colin Farrell has gone out in press recently and said that he shot or is in 5 or 6 scenes of the next Batman movie and
oh hell
confirmed he
yeah.
will be in Batman 3. Are you more excited now? Does it not really change your excitement?
Look, I'm like you when you were talking about Dune. The Dune stuff in TV series does not negate how I feel about the movies, and I feel
Yeah.
the exact same way here. None of the Marvel shows had ever done that to me. I thought the Marvel movies were already bad regardless of the shows, and I see the same thing here. Whether it was good, whether it was bad, hey, I think it's decent. I think it's better than good. So I'm very excited because this is just like a trailer. This is this little bridge that's just supposed to be connecting it. Something that we didn't even need. You can just go from the Batman to the Batman 2, in my opinion, and everything should be okay. It just allows us to be able to flesh out his backstory. It's almost like a one-off comic, one shot. If you collect comics, you're just getting the backstory in this like one issue. That's what this miniseries is. I'm very excited on this idea that Barry Keoghan said he might be getting prepped for the third one. That's exciting to me because he was introduced in the first one. Same way that the Joker was introduced in Batman Begins with the card and then eventually becomes a bigger villain. I want it to all lead up to the Court of Owls. As a big Chicago person, seeing how the first Batman ends over here in it's the Google Tower now that they took out. But do you remember at the end of the Batman, they're doing the voting. It's the whole scaffolding fight. It drowns and he like takes them out to the top over the Nirvana song. That building got like, they took it down. So if they ever wanted to refilm, ironically, it goes with the movie because the building flooded and now they ironically have a new building they could film at. They are taking inspiration from a lot of Chicago, and Chicago's got a lot of Ys because it represents our river and a lot of tunnels that we have. Mm-hmm. They have their own logo in the Batman, sprinkled throughout the Penguin. It'll come back in the Batman. I think Matt Reeves has worked on so many franchises that he already did this thing where it's like, what if I already prepped what the big reveal is going to be in 4 in number 1? No one ever puts the work to do that. They're figuring it out as they go. So if he already did that, it's going to blow our minds when we are rewatching the Batman and they've already introduced the Court of Owls that has been there the whole time. That's what I'm more excited for than the Joker, bro. I'm all in. If Matt Reeves is touching it, I'm all in.
Nice. Yeah, do we have even a date? Is that 2026? No idea.
Oh, bro. I don't know. But we might have some dates for this movie news because this first one that you have on the docket, I read in the morning and I was kind of excited for it. It almost blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean the first? I'll let you take it away. Break down these movie news for our year and nay.
So we have talked about a lot of Hiro Murai projects here on the Intercut podcast as big fans of his work on TV, including directing the pilot for Atlanta, as well as 26 episodes of the Donald Glover show. He directed the first episode of Station 11. He directed episodes 5 and 6 of the first season of Barry. He's also a dude who's done a lot of incredible music videos, many of Childish Gambino's stuff, but Never Catch Me by Flying Lotus and Grief by Earl Sweatshirt. This is a dude who I think you and I have been eagerly anticipating his jump into the world of feature films, and it apparently is about to happen. Hiro Murai is working on a feature-length samurai film with A24, and the film is based on an original script. It's going to be titled Bushido. Ari Aster is attached to produce.
That sounds fire.
Yeah, man. I mean, I am there 100%. Murai just has such an incredible eye. He's one of the directors who I feel like is at the height of making television feel like cinema, like the most cinematic looking television. So much of it has his fingertips on it.
Yeah. And now it's time for cinema to feel like TV. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, it's also the fact that he's waited, right? Like I'm sure he's had opportunities given the track record that he has. Like this is a guy who, if you listen to interviews with Daniel Kwan of the Daniels, Everything Everywhere All at Once Daniels, apparently he and Daniel used to get mixed up all the time as they were like the hot upcoming Asian music video directors. So like he's been percolating, he's been around, people know this guy. I bet
bro,
this is
he may have an Academy Award depending on who you ask, right?
Right.
No, bro, that happens all the time. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But like that's the thing though. This is a dude who I'm sure if he's ready to do it and he's got, like A24 and Ari Aster behind him, it's setting up to be a pretty exciting project. This is definitely rocketing up my most anticipated list.
And Tim, all those extra hands are great, but it's like just Hiro on the project's all you really need. I love the fact that it's Hiro Murai. with breaking news about Hiro Murai. Like that's just beautiful. That's what I like to see. My breaking news and my news coincide like that. I also do.
Yeah.
I kind of respect the hustle of doing a lot of TV, making your mark, making, like you were saying,
Mhm.
television that feels like cinema. Because more than that, this guy, I think, is now going to be able to make his movie the way that he wants to, specifically because a lot of filmmakers talk about TV being the 9 to 5. You can come in, you can work on new stuff. You're really just there for hire. And they don't see that as a bad thing. Everyone sees it as a bad thing when you're the auteur making your vision and
Right.
it's not coming off that way. So if you do the 9 to 5 in TV, all these series, you let me know what I got to do, then you've been prepping in the background. You've been building up from set to set, new people who can help you, all of these connections. This is going to have to be the peak of his career right here. The first movie after all of these Emmy award winning culture shifting series. I think he's built a team around. Like, where did he even cross paths with Ari? Is it just A24?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
just being cool directors, and I guess they just want to know each other. I don't know, man.
Like, he
Ari
did
has to
Chum,
making
bro. He did
connections.
Chum.
Yeah,
How long has this man been here? He did Chum. He
he's
did
been
The
around.
Show Goes On by Lupe Fiasco.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nah.
He's not like a new director. He's just new to this. So it'll be exciting. Josh in the live stream is asking, who would you like to see in the film? The film is set in feudal Japan, so I think that complicates at least my fan casting.
Channing Tatum?
Right? I mean, the people who come to mind are probably the Shogun cast, but they might be a
That'd
little
be
bit
too easy of a
typecast at that
brand.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aquafina, that one YouTuber who was in the Ant-Man movie, and Ronnie Chang.
Yeah,
Let's
I
go.
don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Bro, he did Airplanes.
Damn,
How long has this man been around?
forever, I
Crazy.
guess.
Forever. Well earned.
Yeah, we're really
Good on
really
you,
excited
Hiro.
for
We
it,
will
for
be
sure.
there. Forget day one. Whatever festivals is playing at, we'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Simple as that.
A couple other quick news items before we move on. I think a lot of people were confused about the latest film from auteur Bong Joon-ho, Mickey 17, getting the January release date that it had, a traditional dumping ground for movies that studios are not confident in, especially because I don't know about you. I finally saw that trailer. I think it looks so much fun.
Which one?
Mickey 17.
I think it spoils too much, but I agree. Fun.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree
Right?
with you there.
There's like a title bit that kind of gets ruined.
Yeah. We'll
But
see.
yeah, keep
Hopefully
going.
it's not too deep into the movie, but
No, I'm done. I have my tickets ready. It's,
anyway, Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic that's coming forth from director Antoine Fuqua, was set to come out on April 18th. They moved that to a more awards-friendly October 3rd release date. And in the void left by Michael, Warner Brothers has stepped up and moved Mickey 17 back from January to April 18th. So that means we are
really
not seeing it until 3 months later than we thought, but it
at a
is
better.
moving to a better release date. I don't know. Is this good? More good news than bad news to you?
Yeah, I'm a patient guy. People don't think this, but I am a patient guy.
Yeah.
I talk fast, but people also listen slow. I will wait for the right opportune moment for this. Michael was supposed to be what then? April, and now it's moved to what?
October 3rd.
I think it's good all around for both.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely positions Michael in more of the traditional
Winter,
awards slot.
Oscars.
Like it could probably premiere at
Yeah.
TIFF or something like that.
Yeah. And then Mickey 17 feels a lot more delightful. April, spring. I think it works.
Like fun kind of early summer programming. I dig it.
Either way, way better than January for sure.
Yeah. And better
Especially
than when
because
we
we're on the move and
were.
everything.
It was previously going to come out while we were in Sundance, which would have complicated things. So I appreciate it.
I think for
moving back.
that alone, they should be thinking, are the Intercut boys available
Yeah.
when they're making these schedules, right? And
I saw some people theorize that the move back might include a premiere at South by Southwest. Eyes.
for Mickey,
I'm there.
Damn, Bong Joon-ho. I don't. Has he ever premiered anything? I'm trying to remember where Okja was. That would be fire.
Yeah, I can't. I think Snowpiercer was at Sundance, but I don't know if it premiered there. That's a
Was
great
that not
question.
downgraded a little bit for you?
What?
The fact that it premieres at South by in March and they don't just hold it for Con in May?
I mean, it might
Because like Parasite did Con, then
it
it did
might if
everything
it
else all
weren't
the way
for the
to March.
fact that it was supposed to come out in January. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're just going up from there.
We're not going to see this movie till December 31st, 2025, limited release. I do hear you cackling a little bit as well. I can see what the chat's saying over there. It might be an internet thing, but for the most part, I could still hear you coming in.
Is that any better?
Oh,
Worse? Hello.
You just sound like you're in Heretic's basement right now, bro.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'll switch back to the mic.
I'd say go back to the other one. It's a little bit more crackly, but it might get fixed.
There we go.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts down below.
Hello.
Mickey 17 or Michael, what's the better movie right now? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. The next one was actually two that I had ready for you. So hopefully your mic's able to come in with this one because Paramount was hit with a class action lawsuit over sharing subscriber data. Zach. And then this past week, the funniest part where they had Smile go viral for this one bit where you could see the opening scene, which is incredible, by the way, with Kyle Gallner. It's the opening intro scene you see in the trailer. You're able to watch it if you're smiling the entire time into your camera. Several people said you could just post a picture of like Jack Nicholson's Joker. It works. A lot of people were complaining, this is a privacy issue. How is it capturing you the entire time? Well, yes, Paramount has a history with this, as it turns out that they have been figuring out a lot of your analytics and data and have pretty much sold it to other third parties, and they are in big trouble. This would not be the first time. I am a broken record when bringing up Paramount as the company that tried to sue YouTube in its early days by saying that YouTube was uploading their clips from Family Guy, The Daily Show, all these famous CBS Paramount shows, took them to court, wanted to break a law that revealed who was watching and who was uploading these. They got all the way, and the court said, Paramount, you're the one uploading them. It turns out that it's helping your stuff. So Paramount has always been an idiot when it comes to things like this. Never trust Paramount. Yet another thing. Be careful if you got a Paramount Plus account. Some of your stuff has been leaked over there. What can you do about it? I have no idea, but expect, I guess, a class action lawsuit check coming in the future.
Well, look, man, Paramount Plus has to figure out a way to make money somehow. You're being awfully unfair to the Redstone family, who
they can get the Paramount players to go out there and do the old mafia ways of collecting money, but this is ridiculous, bro. Yeah. How are you getting caught red-handed?
So here's the better question. Do you think that they're the only one doing it, or they're the only one that got caught?
Yeah, this is like the Houston Astros 2017, bro. They're
right.
just the only ones getting caught. That's what I'm saying. How you that sloppy?
Yeah.
Right? When they didn't donate the building to the school, but instead got caught cheating for their kids in that Hollywood scandal. Just donate the building, bro. Do it the way everybody else is doing. What are you doing over here getting sloppy? Yeah. And I think that's the most disrespectful part, right? As we've seen with elections, people don't want someone who's not lying to you. They want someone who's smiling at you and not lying to your face, but in the background. Come on, bro. Like this apparent, they're bleeding money. That's for sure. But like, y'all got to do something because you're just doing one step forward, two steps back. Some of the worst stuff out there. And it's not even worth it for the catalog that they have, if we're being honest for you. But we do have one Paramount thing that we're bringing up, and I guess I'll just jump to it right there because the only really big franchise Paramount has, in everyone's opinion, woke up, caught it. Finally, I know what he's going to do with this damn plane, bro.
Right? And also the submarines that Paramount spent however many millions of dollars on.
So to me, I'm kind of excited for this one because I can't remember if we were split on it, but I did not like part one as much.
I mean, I think we both were in agreement that part one was like one of like not as strong as the last couple installments of the franchise, but I still had a good time with it. Like it had the unfortunate timing of coming out like almost directly in before an incredible summer of movies that started with like Barbie and Oppenheimer and stuff like that. So I think it ended up getting forgotten a little, but I don't know. I thought it was solid. I have high hopes for this one as well, partially because it does look like they're going crazy with it, and if it is going to be a final installment of some kind, I'm sure they're going to want to knock it out of the park. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm definitely there day one. There's not.
Do you think the character that was offed in the last one will be coming back for this one?
Are they in the trailer?
Why would they be in the trailer? It's supposed to be a surprise.
Oh wait, are we talking about?
Yes, I'm not saying it in case I don't know if someone hasn't seen it, but that's what I'm just saying. Because to me, that was a big reason I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I was bummed dumb by that as well, and I kind of think they're gonna stick to that decision, but I hope they don't.
I had also made a video talking about how the first one was filmed for IMAX. He does a massive jump that would have looked great on an expanded ratio since he's jumping off a damn cliff. Used it for 4, 5, 6, 7. Or sorry, 4, 5, 6, but not for 7. I believe he got screwed over during that period in time. Have a whole LME on that. But here we are yet again, filmed for IMAX. And those words are very particular. Not optimized, not done in any other way, actually filmed with these film cameras. I am waiting for them to release part 1 and 2. And I can't wait to see that part 1 in IMAX so I can shut everybody down in my comment section who has no idea how aspect ratios work, marketing, or any of that stuff. Second one is fully filmed. And I think that they just need to stick to that because a big problem with part 1 was that they were going up against Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Right.
Like that was a jam-packed summer. I think it also just got lost in the mix of so many big movies. May is a pretty solid date for it. I don't know what Marvel's plans are. They had one movie this year. They're going to have a slew coming out. This is around that time, if I'm not mistaken. So he's still only going to be stuck with a week. And I think he's still on that Top Gun ride where he was able to maneuver whatever he wanted on Prime, 40X, ScreenX, anything. So we'll see how that plays out. It already looks better. But I'm tired of these trailers for Mission Impossible where they don't mix the sound effects. They did it on the last one too.
I mean, it's not as bad as the trailer for The Mummy, at least.
Nothing will ever beat The Mummy because that's all they mixed was the sound effects.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like also when you do something like this and you like make a 2-part film all at once, like there's probably a part of them that knows they got to save some of their best stuff for the end. So hopefully, yeah, like part 2 will be a little bit.
They did split it like that. Do you like the title change? I think that's a lot better because Dead Reckoning Part 1 was always ugly in my opinion.
Yeah.
Final Reckoning. That's
much
dope.
better. It's clean.
Yeah.
Drop the just
Final
Facebook.
Reckoning.
Yeah. And shout out Damage Turtle in the live stream comments who said they are in the trailer.
All right, I'm gonna have to eagle eye there. I know there's a couple of underwater scenes here, so I'm definitely gonna keep my eye out for it because they need to come back.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I would be quite happy with that. I wouldn't be it wouldn't be retconning in my eyes. Just get them back on screen.
Is this really the final one?
I mean, I can't imagine that the powers that be would let a franchise die like that, right? Everything's IP. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being Tom Cruise's final one, or maybe he stays on just as a producer. You know, with a different actor, you could say, oh, maybe they'll just be like a supporting role, but Tom Cruise ain't taking no supporting part in Mission Impossible. Let's be real.
That would have to be like years from now or something like that. But I'm excited. May's a good release date for that as well. I think it's a lot better than saving it towards August and the likes, but I'll be keeping my eyes for that one. The next and final story that we've got over here is this one about MUBI. I don't know if you were able to read up on this, but overseas, I want to say in Turkey, got it over here, Istanbul specifically, they were going to showcase queer. There was a protest for it, and MUBI said, no festival, bye. I cannot imagine we go to Sundance and they go, nope, y'all went red, bye-bye, test this year.
Yikes. Yeah, I mean, look, Queer was supposed to be the opening night film, and it's also like this is MUBI Fest, right? And MUBI is the distributor of Queer in Europe, I believe. So like it's is there a reason for them to do movie fest if they can't fest their big movie? I don't know.
Movies, yeah, I don't know. I would be very curious to see Movie Fest over here. I think they're starting to pick up a lot. Literally, Movie Fest would just be their con pickups back home.
Oh yeah, I mean it's. I think they're even stronger in Europe. They pick up a lot of stuff.
That's what you mean for the international. Yeah.
But even here, as you said, like they have great taste. They had a pretty big hit on their hands with The Substance this year. It's nice to have another sort of player in the indie space that is developing kind of like a identity and curates their films well. And it's nice also because it feels like they're on a different plane than the A24s and Neons, right? Like they're more in the range of like your IFC films, your oscilloscopes that are a little more modest in their budgets.
I've always put them a little bit more like Criterion, but they produce way too much new stuff for it to be just Criterion. Where Criterion restores, I feel they pick up, like you're saying, for international releases and such. But now Criterion, for their channel, is picking up a lot of streaming premieres. And MUBI, obviously, has got their like movie a day such thing. So if I had to pitch you between 2 years of MUBI or 2 years of Criterion channel, what would you pick?
Man, I've just been in a classics phase recently. Give me that Criterion channel. I'll go back in time. I got eras of film on Criterion right now.
I feel the same way just because of what Criterion gives you. I like the way they project their stuff, and I love all of their supplemental stuff. The idea that it's not just a library of the movies, but it feels like a digital version of their actual discs with the behind the scenes and all that stuff. I don't know. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think a lot of other streaming services should be copying it. So
definitely.
For those of you who couldn't go to Movie Fest, get Criterion channel down below. Someone had even said that all those discount codes that they send you never expire. So technically, I think I got more Criterion gift codes than I do stock right now. So I'm ready to go on a spending spree. But that's our movie news for this week. We're going to be breaking down all of the stuff that's coming up, it's really going to be a slow week. I don't know if we got that much.
Yeah, we might have to do like a bracket next week or something because slim pickings.
Take the week off. We'll come back. We'll recoup in December because you already did the hard work. With the one and only Red One coming out this week in cinemas. For those of you who are interested, Zach says to catch the Dolby, I think he said, front row, so that you don't miss any of the action.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the biggest one of the week coming out to all theaters. But if you did not catch the early screening of this, like we had mentioned last week, Zach, are you going to be catching the early one of Wicked that comes out? I want to say it's on Monday, the 18th. So technically next week, you'll be able to see this a week early.
I was lucky enough to get an invite to a screening of Wicked at the Directors Guild of America Theater this week. Ooh. So I'll be seeing it a little earlier than that even.
When do you see it?
I see it Thursday with John Chu in attendance.
But Red One comes out Thursday, bro. How are you going to...
I saw it early. I'm good.
Emilia, Perez, a movie we both saw early, and we can at least recommend it on Netflix. It had its theatrical run in case you needed to see it with a group, but this one is coming out in the comfort of your own home. It is the craziest musical, and I just mean that in terms of its like story that it's telling. None of the songs are way too over the top. It's just what they're about that is so weird. The story of a transgender
crime
kingpin
lord,
crime lord, who is now a defender of the victims that they themselves created. Starring Selena Gomez, starring Zoe Saldana, and many more. But a lot of people even believe the title character may get an Oscar nomination. So we shall see. That'll be out this week alongside another Netflix movie. This is the one I'll be watching for sure. Hot Frosty, bro.
Yeah.
We've seen this story told multiple times, but not like this. What if a snowman turned into the hot boyfriend? That's where we're at on Netflix original movies. I was looking down the docket, bro. There is 5 Hallmark Christmas movies coming out for every channel. Every single Peacock, Paramount, all of them. We are in the thick of it.
The Hallmark stuff, man, people discount it, but it is super popular.
Money makers.
Money in the
Throw
Bank,
It
yeah.
doesn't even matter what it is, bro. Every single poster looks like this. Someone's wearing green, someone's wearing red. It's a white backdrop. Every single damn one. But I love how now it's like they're not afraid to be like, but this time they're gay. This time they're actually they live in this part of the town or whatever else. It's like just a variation of the exact same damn story.
Yeah.
And I think we should do a bracket for next week. We'll be covering all 32 new
Perfect
hot Frosties that are out there.
This one comes from writer Russell Hainline, who's somebody I followed on Twitter for many years. So it's just weird to like see a dude who you just know from liking their tweets is suddenly the writer of a Netflix original.
Are you sure it was their tweets and not the Santa Summit that got you on the radar?
I don't think so.
I remember succinctly you mentioning 3 Wiser Men and a Boy. Actually, this is one of the newer ones from this week, 2024.
Is this another Netflix one? Or is this Hallmark? I know he does some Hallmark stuff.
This is crazy, bro. My man's got 3 movies coming out. Damn near.
Churn him.
Wow. What's he tweet? Because this man just does Santa movies.
Used to be a lot of funny film stuff. I don't know. Now it's just about his movies.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Hot Frosty at least made me laugh a little bit in the trailer, so I expect it to be some dumb fun throughout the weekend. But as far as movies go, we then got all the TV. There's this TV miniseries that came out of nowhere called Say Nothing. I saw a trailer for this, I think, just last week, and I was like, all right, poster looks pretty cool. It's an FX original, but you'll be able to see it on Hulu or Disney Plus. That's supposed to be covering a part in Ireland. I'm assuming it's a true story because they're pitching it as a docudrama, but
yeah, it looks like it's talking about the Troubles.
All right. Should be interesting. It looks like it's shot very well. This will be out there on Disney Plus before they remove it like they do all of their drama series. Cross, though, over on Amazon Prime, I think looks like it's gonna be a fun show. They've already killed it with their Reacher series. People really love that stuff. Now you got Cross. Alex Cross in particular. I don't know if you've ever read his books. I've seen several of his movies since so many people have played Alex Cross. It looks good. I think it should be a fun little show to watch. I think it's only going to be it's a lot more episodes than I thought. 11 episodes, unless that's counting the next season already. But it looks like it should be a nice little procedural detective show. Hodges is decent. I don't know if you remember this one, the one that had Matthew Perry.
And Tyler Perry. Yeah.
Or Matthew Fox, sorry. Matthew Fox and Tyler Perry was actually Alex Cross. That was the last time I remember the Cross.
Yeah, same. I barely remember that.
Yeah, so now we actually got a good one, and it's going to be a TV series on Prime. Gives a thumbs up for me. I'm curious for it because what are you going to do? Catch up on Netflix's Cobra Kai? I don't know what the last episode was that you may have caught from this, but they did announce a movie with freaking Jackie Chan. So in the timeline, Jackie Chan should be announced in this one.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because it's okay. I remember reading that announcement and I forgot that Cobra Kai is part of this whole franchise.
Now, I don't get how they're going to do it because I thought his was a like spinoff.
Right. Yeah. It's supposed to be one where like both the Mr. Miyagi's existed in this universe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But just to boot this one up, it's Karate Kid Legends. Like they already got the kid. They got Ralph on there, and Ralph is a main character in the show. It's his freaking dojo. And they got a new kid who they're going to be training. Is this kid going to pop up in the show? I don't know where this is going, but at this point, it's made the new season of Cobra Kai a big deal. I wasn't expecting a Jackie Chan. I was expecting what's her name from $1 Million Baby, the one who was in I think Karate Kid.
Hilary Swank, yeah.
That's who I wanted, dude. We'll see. I think there's a lot riding. They've been milking it for this season right here.
Legends 2
about to come out this Friday on Netflix. Then the final one. If all that fighting wasn't enough for you, Zach, I'm gonna ask you right now: is your money on Paul? Is your money on Tyson? It's this weekend.
My money's in my pocket, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not watching this. I'm
well, you're not even watching it?
I'm canceling Netflix over this. I don't know, man. I don't. Why would I watch this? Why would I watch a like failed YouTuber box a man 2.5 times his age? Like it's to me, I couldn't get further away from it.
terrible YouTuber for sure. Failed? I mean, this man failed up. Then at that point, you got a Netflix live effect.
Sure.
I want to see him get socked in his face, bro. I want him to know what a real trigger looks like from Mike Tyson. I think people do get old, but I think there is a movement that never leaves you, and I want to see him get hit straight in
that
the
old
face.
man strength.
Woo! Yeah, I want him to teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
Or he might croak on the way up because then he already gets sick. Like,
right? Like that's
what do you have, gangrene or something? I don't know what Mike Tyson had, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
this is one of the dumbest fights, and we just went through his brother fighting Mayweather. I don't think the other Paul brothers been paid for that. But at least that made a little bit more sense while also not making any sense whatsoever. This one is ridiculous. And it's because of that. Yeah, tune in for a little bit. They also got the best female boxers fighting. They're feminists.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of undercards and stuff, right? I don't know, man. You're the bigger fighting fan than I am. I mean,
I'm supporting this for the women, and honestly, I'm just going to be there for the first fight. And they're just like the dessert. They're the top of the night.
Man, it's crazy though. Like I know boxing commissions are all supposed to be really corrupt and stuff like that, but like in the absence of like any kind of organized nature of that sport, it's just become like completely lawless. Like
it's a joke.
This should not be a thing that happens.
They went the numbers, right? There's like, okay, you're not bringing in the older people, you're not bringing in the younger people.
There's like a higher than normal percentage chance that one of these dudes ends up dead at the end of this thing.
That's a little enjoyable though. Gladiator and then this in real life. Let's do it. Other than that, that's all of the new picks for the week, except for some ones that I have coming up that I would put in my picks for the week. But before we do that, actually, there were some questions that we had gotten. I think you had mentioned some earlier. You may have started some. I see you put Stephanie D here, said, "Are you going to watch the Silo premiere this week?" I almost picked up the book.
Silo is pretty good. We talk a lot about how there's all these really well-produced shows on Apple TV Plus. So many of them starring big movie stars, like legit impressive productions, and almost none of them get any traction, any kind of hype, any kind of audience. And yet I keep hearing people talk about Silo. I did watch the pilot and I enjoyed it, but it's just like one of those things where it's hard to keep up with everything, but enough people keep bringing up Silo, and now it's coming back that I might have to get on that train. I'm gonna have to get in that bunker.
I think I finished the first season.
Really?
But that's what I mean. Like even that, right?
Ferguson fangirl.
I mean, I just want to make sure that she comes back for that second season. You know what I mean? Be it in whatever they need to be in. But I thought the first season was kind of interesting because again, they're primarily all living in the silo and they don't really know like how deep it goes and what the realm of this world is. It's also shot on Apple TV Plus. It's projected pretty well. So I like the first season. I'll be catching up on that. Like I said, I might even read the book because I've heard some good things about it. I saw earlier you even had 80 Stone Cipher. Big shout out to everyone in the chat too, leaving us questions. If you have any other ones, let us know down below as we go through these. Did you guys see Memoir of a Snail, which is out in theaters right now, if I'm not mistaken?
I think so. Yeah.
Eventually come out.
I think I talked about it a little last week. Did you see it too?
I sent you the link.
Right. Of course.
I haven't seen it. Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, it's I really love the claymation animation style. It's beautifully done. It's a very beautiful story. It almost feels like a biopic. It's just sort of telling the story of this woman's life in a way. And it might, it's maybe a little bit maudlin, but like I think it's really heartfelt and emotional. So I felt affected by it. I don't know if I'm like sold on it as the best animated film of the year. There's a lot of competition out there this year, but
I got your competition in my pick for the week.
I would be happy to see this among the 5 Oscar nominees for best animated though.
I'd be ecstatic to see this for the top 5 because this was one of my favorites out of Chicago. The other one that Zach's talking about is also really good. I want to see them both compete, but I want to see them both honored more than anything. I hope they both are able to snag up a nomination. But Memoir of a Snail, I think, is worth watching. If you can go see it in theaters, go so, because I saw it at home and I would have loved to have seen it at a screening, but they've been really nice about it. And it's got one of my favorite ones. Someone had messaged me too on Instagram. They had posted their reviews for it, and they had chosen my Letterboxd review about shouting them out that I really liked the movie and that I had specifically quoted in the credits, they put "made by real humans," which is like really nice and at the same time so insane that we have to get that as a reminder.
Yeah. Did you see? We were talking about Heretic earlier. I think in the credits for Heretic,
Alina got that the no AI thing. They
no
were like
generative AI. Yeah.
that one frame. Okay, yeah, we can tell. I'm just kidding, but no, I really do like Memoir of a Snail. If you have it playing near you, or hopefully when it comes close to you, definitely give it a watch. Watch the original one. Remember, because I told you it reminded me of something, and then I'm like, oh,
Mary and Max, or Max and Mary, right?
Mary and Max, Max and Mary. You'll see the style; it is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Watch it.
One of Caitlin's
I like
favorites.
both of these movies. Yeah, they're very good, very good. Let's see anything else. I see Damage Hurdle. It said, y'all are on the physical media train, or do you have your movie server set up like Plex? Physical media.
Do you know Plex? Do you use Plex?
I don't use Plex, but everybody, I'm trying to find a solution to like my hard drive that I have on the cloud, and people are like, my Plex. I was like, I don't give a damn about your Plex threads.
Yeah.
People love Plex, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college, studied screenwriting and playwriting. I've kind of, when I was in high school, my friends nicknamed me IMDb. I've always had this like deep love of films. I travel to film festivals, have been doing it for over a decade now, and I've been replaced in my friend group as the movie guy by a dude who set up a Plex server. So good for them.
Describe it.
But it's like, this app you can use where if somebody has uploaded video files, it's just like a personal streaming service. So my buddies now text my other friend and it's like, hey, can you add such and such movie to the Plex? And it's there. Don't have to worry about the regions or rights or licenses when your buddy just has access to torrents.
Fascinating. So it's not like y'all are sharing a Voodoo account or something like that. Because I had a buddy who used to he would buy the codes. I was getting a lot of codes because I was buying a lot of movies, had the digitals, and we would put them on there. And then eventually Voodoo was like, stop code sharing. Then they became Fandango now. This is like not digital copies purchased. Yeah, it's digital copies found.
And it might work with legit copies as well, but I know the big appeal is that you can just put stuff on there. I don't know, man. I stay away from that. I get my movies the proper way by begging the studio publicist.
Yeah, but then we can put the Vimeo links up there, you know, and then we got our own Intercut Plex server.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's all it is, I mean, I got a server, but I ain't got it on Plex, but that sounds interesting because then it's like a shared Dropbox.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is formatted for you to be able to play movies like a streamer.
As far as I know, yeah. So it's cool. It's a cool idea. I like having the discs. I like having the special features. So I'm a physical media guy, although not as big of a physical media guy as I once was. I've spent my money. I've done my time.
Well, and that's the biggest difference. Yeah, we're slowly becoming this thing of like you're buying physical media for two reasons. You either really like the art and what it's coming with because you want the best projection possible, or two, you're trying to like save it. You're trying to make sure that once it's gone and you can't find it on streaming or whatever else, at that point, you just care about the movie. Just get the digital file. Like be it the Plex thing that you're talking about, or a digital code, or as Kendrick would say, rip the hard drive.
Yeah.
To keep that file is yours. The disc can break.
Exactly.
And it's hard to keep those because you can't even copy.
DVDs age. I didn't realize
people don't get that.
Yeah.
Or they'll scratch or like, oh damn, I got the movie. Cool. Do you got the DVD, Blu-ray, the 4K? Like which do you have the cables? Do you have everything set up to go? Now for a cinephile that's set and everything. But for me, I love a lot of the discs that I have, but a big majority of it is also the idea that go over there, lady. Go. The big majority is some of these look ugly. Like I don't want to drop $30 for something that now needs to take up space and isn't good. So you're kind of stuck with like you're going to release 5 more of these. Which one should I wait for? So in the meantime, I collect a lot of the stuff digitally. But we're still both big movie guys in terms of physical media. But Alina went to a Best Buy the other day, empty.
Yeah, man, they cleaned out all their physical media. It's sad.
You got to go to like a half price books or something.
Yeah.
Oh, and he does back him up. Well, I need to know more about this Plex thing. How you're backing up the physical media up to there. That's the stuff that fascinates me because they also make it very difficult for you to even be able to rip the stuff that you have on disc to that because of all the DRMs or whatever the codes are.
Remember when we were growing up and just computers had DVD burners in them?
It just came
We
with
didn't know
it,
how
bro.
good we had it. We didn't know.
Man, I had a buddy. He had a whole thing going at the library. Go get some music. Now you got the music. Like different times.
Nicholas Gray asked Anora spoiler review when this week. We shot one. It is going to be online probably Thursday, if not earlier. So stay tuned for that.
Perfect.
We got a super chat from Max Sloth who said thoughts on Lionsgate releasing Trey Edward Schultz's next film, which is a filmed version of The Weeknd's 6th studio album. Stars Barry Keoghan and Jenna Ortega. Did you hear about this one?
No, what?
It's our boy, Trey Edward Schultz.
The GOAT?
The GOAT.
Still thinking about his last movie?
It's The Weeknd trying to further enter the TV movie sphere. It's a couple great actors.
But I don't get it. Like, these are his music videos combined into something? Or is this like a film that, like Purple Rain, that's going to accompany his album?
I got the vibe that it's supposed to be Purple Rainish. The album will be a companion piece to the film's actual score.
Ooh.
It's described as a suspenseful psychological thriller and a musical opus. And if I wasn't clear, The Weeknd is also starring in the film, not just Barry Keoghan and Jenna Ortega.
You've got to after that great performance he gave in the Undo. I like it. I'm excited. That sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it sounds more interesting to me than The Idol.
I'm curious what they do with it.
Yeah. We got a couple more here. Josh asked, would you say that Heretic features Hugh Grant's best performance?
Hugh Grant's best performance? No. But it's a really good performance. I think the best, like, we can't say, yo, this man's been around for a while. And then be like, is this his best performance? We just said he was around for a while. That means he's had, like, some really, really big roles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's his best one, but I think it is able to use him at his best because it knows. They talked about when they were casting him, out of everybody that they had, they specifically wanted someone who you would go in the house with. Right. And because everybody knows Hugh Grant, and I really like the way that they flipped the Love Actually line, because he says a Love Actually line in the damn movie. That's how I know Love. Like, are you guys a little too meta here? But the fact that one of his biggest scenes is in Love Actually when he's there at the door, right? And now you're flipping that for you to want to go inside with him with these characters. Exactly. I think it's very smart casting, and he's really good in the movie.
Exactly. The Heretic performance is partially so good because it is a subversion of what you expect from Hugh Grant, and he's sort of been on a run recently of subverting himself between films like this and even his role in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, this like really charming, kind of nebbish handsome British guy is actually evil, you know. He's been very good in it, but I still think like the reason Hugh Grant is because of films like Four Weddings and a Funeral, films like Notting Hill.
That's the one he still shouts out to this day, and I love Notting Hill.
Yeah, Notting Hill's great. I mean, the idea of you is basically Notting Hill.
Yeah.
I also thought he was great in Music and Lyrics with Drew Barrymore. That's
damn. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
But I do think there's really one answer. I don't even know why we're wasting our time with it. His performance in Unfrosted when he dressed up as Tony the Tiger. So appreciate the question.
Great.
It was great. The other one that I see you had here was Blaze14ZX saying, please no Arcane spoilers. I'm waiting till the end of the month to binge all the episodes. I mean, she died in the first episode. Sorry. My bad.
I haven't seen
it. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, bro. The League of Legends. I've not seen it either. But I did like, as we discussed it last week, Arcane is going to be split into 3 parts. 9 episodes. Act 1, Act 2. Where's my camera? Oh, my camera's over here now. So it's Act 1, 1, 2, 3. Act 2, 4, 5, 6. And then the last batch. Released weekly.
Oh,
why not just call that episodic episodes?
Yeah.
They're releasing them, so it's almost like a movie, hour half.
It's really funny to see Netflix just kind of cling to the idea of the binge style release, and they keep breaking their own rules and being like, "Well, no, it's not a weekly release.
It's not a weekly release.
Try a weekly release."
Yeah, we're not saying comment, like, and subscribe. We're just saying please hit the bell. Please hit the bell. Like, it's the same thing, bro. Like, you're just finding a new way, but you ain't reinventing the wheel. It's the exact same bit, and I do think it's smart. Why have it all come out in that set?
Absolutely.
Wow. You don't want it to go a month and a half? Cool. Perfect. Right under a month, right here.
Wow. People can know how far in others are and discuss it and not be like, oh, I don't know. I've finished episode 4. Where are you at?
Yeah. That way we all know where we're at. And Blaze 14 Z6 doesn't need to be spoiled that people are dying in the show. Damage said, I use an old MacBook Pro, rip the DVDs, and save on the Plex crowd. What? Happy to DM with more. No, just DM me the MacBook Pro, bro. Let me. What? How? Bro, I have not had a disc player in a MacBook since 2013.
Yeah, probably.
That would, even with the newer ones though, like I have way more questions than that, because the DVD I get, DVD doesn't have the protections like a lot of the other ones, but the new Blu-rays and the 4Ks, no, you're screwed. You cannot rip that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel, but I'm always here to learn. Let's see. Last one would probably be Ricardo, who you have here, saying, have you guys seen Gladiator 2? And if so, is Paul strong enough for a nomination? I think Paul's strong enough to do anything he sets his mind to. No, I have not seen Gladiator 2.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I believe in Paul Mescal. He looks strong. I think he's been.
You saw the Paul Mescal look-like contest in the UK?
These discount look-alike contests,
they gotta stop it.
Yeah, man. The Timothy Chalamet one was funny, but now everybody's trying to do their own one. There was the Dev Patel one, and
Dev Patel just had it's ridiculous, bro.
It's like, great, you saw a funny joke.
Yeah, I saw 2 other guys doing the Intercut one. I was like, hey, get out of here.
Yeah,
we cut away from them, but yeah, no, I have faith in Paul Mescal. I just rewatched the first Gladiator, and I have theories on who may be connected to who, but the movie's about to come out. I've heard it's good. I heard it's like a movie.
Yeah.
Like the film projects onto the screen, and there's sound, and there's scenes, and there's acts.
I'd hope so. I did pay for a ticket, so.
I'm looking forward to all that. What are you watching at Dolby?
I'm
catching Dolby too, yeah, because at this point, I don't even think there's going to be a...
I got to hear No Church in the Wild in surround sound.
And then our final question right here in the live chat that I see is from Nicholas Gray, and it's a very important one. Red One Oscar chances. What you got?
Lock for original screenplay, best supporting actor Chris Evans, probably best actor Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Just probably 8 or 9 nominations. I could see it pretty much running the table.
When The Rock ends up hosting the Oscars, I'm gonna laugh so hard. In the meantime,
that's the closest Red One we'll get there.
I'm just going to shout out my picks for the week. As we talked about earlier, Dune Prophecy premieres this week on HBO Max. It is part of the HBO umbrella, so you know it's good. I'm excited for it. 6 episodes weekly, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm very curious to see how they expand the world. Dune Prophecy.
Yeah, I'm checking it out. I don't think it'll be as good as Denny's movies, but hopefully it'll be fun. I like Emily Watson.
My next one is Flow. The movie Zach is claiming is the best animated movie of the year.
I dig it.
That's what he says.
I like it.
And I got it as one of my 3 picks too, so I guess I kind of agree with him as well. It's playing in theaters now. Beautiful looking movie. No words. All just from these characters' interactions of a cat trying to survive as it's out there in, what would it even be, the forest of Congo? Like this cat went through all elements in this movie.
Yeah, it's like the future destroyed planet or something.
Yeah,
like that. And it's a
fantastic film though.
Yeah, I really loved it. I think the use of the digital camera is particularly excellent in this. Like, there's lots of sequences where you're sort of like on cat eye level as he runs through scenes, and it pun intended, it flows so perfectly.
It does. It has a very good style to it. And I really do have it neck and neck with the other one that we had mentioned earlier, The Memoirs of a Snail. I think both were really good movies. out of Chicago. And I want both of them to get nominated. So you may still have a chance to catch both of these out in theaters. So give them a watch if you're interested in it. But my final pick for this week is a movie from Sundance that I feel ended up being the surprise hit, the biggest hit. Every single person who has seen Thelma has told me how much they love it.
Mhm.
I have yet to see a Thelma hater, a Thelma denier, and now it's coming out on Hulu for the first time. People have caught this in various different places, but most people got Disney Plus, Hulu. You'll be able to catch it there. The story of a grandma who gets screwed over like Nebraska, and she says, "No, I'm not going to fall for this," and decides to get back at her scammers. If you've seen The Beekeeper, that ain't nothing compared to what Thelma does to these guys over here. And again, this was a Sundance pick, a little sleeper hit that we really enjoyed, and most people have really loved it.
Yeah,
So.
it's a really cute, really modest film. It's very funny to sort of subvert the whole like Liam Neeson revenge films idea, but put June Squibb at the center of it.
That's
And
funny.
you know, it's not like a Naked Gun movie. Like it's not doing full parody or anything like that. It's a very, very light parody, but I think it's got a lot of heart and it's got a lot of humor.
Yeah, it's a lot more emotional because it really is like that's the grandma, that's the grandson. And the parents are kind of both treating them the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And
trapped,
the
they're locked.
director wrote it about his
own grandma.
Yeah.
So it's about how much they connect, and I found that to be a really touching story at the end as well, and why they give themselves so much leeway. But also June Squibb, 93, first feature film
Starring
lead role, yeah, starring role, crazy stuff. But Thelma out on Hulu. Zach's got a couple of picks, starting with this man. Snowmen.
Snowmen, yeah. The music video for Profit Margins, profit spelled like a religious prophet. It's a fun play on words. The song's really good and the music video is really good, and I really want to shout out the music video because it was shot by friend of the program, Taylor J. Williams, who I think did a pretty incredible job. The cinematography on this one is stellar. There's a lot of great shots in there. I particularly like the back half of the song when they get into like a big guitar breakdown and he's got these close-ups on the guitar strings kind of vibrating and stuff. A lot of really cool shots in this one. Our boys got some talent. Our boys got an eye.
Good on Taylor. You had this, also worked on EFIS that we had both mentioned earlier this year from the festivals. Good on him.
Yeah.
Sounds fire.
So
you've also been on your Profits.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very religious week.
For profit margins, Heretic. There you go.
So yeah, Profit Margins, the new song from Snowmen, co-directed, I believe, by our buddy Taylor J. Williams. You can watch that one on YouTube. In general, the theme of my picks for the week is movies detox. We were talking about it earlier. We just went through the slog of fall film festival season. I went straight from TIFF into New York, into Montclair and Philly. It was movies nonstop, 3-4 a day, and I'm tired. I got some work to catch up on. I need to take a breath. So I got a music video, and the next thing I got a video game. I got a video game that I've been killing some time with. Metaphor ReFantazio. I don't know if you've heard anything about this one. It has a terrible title. It is always a struggle to say it out loud. I always think I'm mispronouncing it, and I feel like metaphor is so on the nose that it like almost means nothing. Yet this is probably the most fun video game I've played all year. Not more than that, it is the new game made by Atlas, the company that makes Shin Megami Tensei and my personal favorite, the Persona franchise. These are JRPGs, but this JRPG in particular has a big fantasy element. They've sort of taken the idea of the Persona games and taken it out of like a school setting and put it into a fantasy world setting. And it's just like a really fun structure for this game. It's got turn-based battles. It's got this calendar system that it runs on where certain sequences in the game take place during long stretches of time. So rather than being like a constant rush to get things done, it's a game that encourages you to take your time, to explore, to kind of like incorporate different elements into your character that you might not otherwise try for. And I've just found that like Atlas makes games at like the perfect pace for me, because I'm not a gamer who will like necessarily sit there and binge all day, or like you know, be able to set aside the time necessary for some of these games. But with the calendar system, the turn-based system, it's really easy to just kind of take little bites out of it, out of time. If you don't feel like doing one thing, you can shift and do the other thing. A lot of the story is a little bit convoluted and long, but I don't know, man. I'm just really enjoying my time in this world.
You get it for PS5?
Yeah, playing on PS5.
Fire.
Yeah.
Very similar game, honestly, to the one that you just recommended. I just picked up Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. It was on sale.
That's the inspiration.
And honestly, like I was looking at some of the images today, tit for tat, damn near. So we've been playing completely different games.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to
but I'll have to hop on. I'll have to put this on.
Yeah, let me know. I think you might dig Persona 5 a little more than this one.
Yeah, I still got Persona 5 on the. I remember buying that one.
Nice. Yeah, I think the school setting is a little cooler in my eyes personally, but this is just like
okay.
Got a similar vibe to it, so I've been digging it, and the combat's really fun. I've been really trying to get Caitlin to pick up Red Dead Redemption 2. She keeps
oh, you have to, bro.
teasing me that she will, but
yeah, we're waiting for the snow to fall, and then that's it. No more movies.
Nice. My last non-movie pick for the week is a podcast, but it is a podcast about TV. So we're getting a little closer, and it is specifically the Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast. They have been putting out episodes for this for the past 6 or so months. They're available to watch on YouTube or just listen on whatever podcast provider you like. I don't know about you. I feel like in our like adult lifetimes, the Lonely Island are probably the most influential comedy figures, if at least figures on SNL, like in the post Will Ferrell era.
Sure. Yeah.
They've defined the style of a lot of modern comedy, and are so like so many of their sketches are so iconic. And I've really enjoyed this podcast where they go through like one sketch at a time, their history on SNL. Seth Meyers kind of hosts the podcast. He was the head writer for the duration of the Lonely Island stay at SNL. And you got Andy, Akiva, and Yorma talking about all these sketches. But I think what's really cool is seeing them talk about the context around a lot of these sketches, because as an audience, we're just tuning in on Saturday nights or maybe Sunday morning, catching the clips on YouTube, and we don't know a lot of the things that went into them, like the weeks where they were busy working on Hot Rod, so they had to figure out something that they could do in a short amount of time, or the weeks when they were working with celebrities and bouncing pitches off of them, and getting all those stories of the behind the scenes of it, getting also their feelings about some of these sketches, because they're unafraid to be like, this one actually wasn't my favorite, and this one I can tell that we were a little lazy with. And I like their honesty with it. It's also, it goes beyond just the Lonely Island sketches. It's really just like the four of these guys going back through their time on SNL. It plays a little bit like an oral history of that era of SNL. And to anybody who even has had a passing interest in SNL, that was like the most recent golden era. It was an era with Bill Hader, Will Forte, Maya Rudolph, Amy Poehler, Chris Parnell, and of course Andy Samberg, as well as others. So I find it's really insightful, and is letting me see a lot of the most iconic sketches I can remember in a new light.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right, be sure to check this one out.
Definitely.
Hit the road. Get this one playing.
It's because it's a podcast that's just about all these different sketches. It's really easy to just jump into a random one. Like if you don't necessarily want to listen to all of them, just start with the Natalie Raps episode. Start with the I Ran So Far episode. They're still working through it, so I don't think they've gotten to I'm on a Boat. But the Dick in a Box episode had a lot of insights that I didn't realize.
What was the biggest thing they had in the box?
Well, they were talking about working with Justin Timberlake and how he taught them how to use Pro Tools in order to record singing, and they basically
That's
are
funny.
still using the tricks that Justin Timberlake taught them in order to record Dick in a Box. But specifically the way that he got that sound going into the chorus, he recorded 16 layers of vocals and layered them in order to achieve that kind of like perfect 90s R&B sound. It's kind of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll help for their world tour. Running it back though, I've got Dune Prophecy is my pick for the miniseries that's coming out this week. Or is it even a miniseries? It might be an ongoing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think they'd like it
We'll
to be
see.
ongoing.
I think yeah. So I got Dune Prophecy over on HBO Max. Flow out in theaters. I believe it's going to be limited, but it's going to be rolling out. One of the best animated movies of the year. And then Thelma over on Hulu, the Sundance surprise hit about a grandma getting back at her scammers.
Nice.
Zach Scott?
I've got the Profit Margins music video by Snowmen, co-directed by our buddy Taylor J. Williams. I've got the video game Metaphor ReFantazio available on Steam or consoles everywhere. And I've got the podcast, The Lonely Island and Seth Meyers podcast, looking back at so many hilarious sketches from the past almost 20 years now. Damn, it's been a while.
That's crazy,
my picks.
bro. That's insane. What a long weekend. Are the other guys even there anymore? Destroy Lonely?
They're all doing stuff like Yorma.
No. For the new guys, the guys who are now copying them.
Oh, please don't destroy. Yeah, they're still there.
Please don't destroy.
Yeah, they're still there.
I haven't seen a sketch.
Wait, maybe I could be wrong. I thought they were still there.
They get fired. They got the boot.
Well, they made that feature for Peacock. Maybe they decided to.
Yeah, they got fired. They said, get these guys out of here. Either way, as Zach finds all that, that's all for this week's show, as it was for these guys not being on SNL any longer. You can find more from me over at LME Movies on all social media. You can find the Destroy Lonely People or Please May Destroy on the old seasons of SNL. But you can find
still
Zach.
on.
They're still on. Bro, I have not seen them. We're like 4 episodes in.
Yeah, October 20th looks like was their first sketch, so maybe it took them a couple of weeks to get in.
I have to watch it back, bro. Zach, where can people find more from you?
You can find more from me across social media at Zshevich, or find more videos from me wherever you find videos at Multiplex Show.
Fire. Big shout out to all of the chat who is watching us live. We really appreciate all the questions, doing a little interview throughout, getting your feedback and commentary on a lot of the stuff. And a reminder that you can listen to every episode of Intercut on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcatcher is, and you can catch us every week here live for the weekend must watch. Big shout out to all the inner cuties who listen live, all the patrons and the iTunes listeners who give us that 5-star review. Where we chart this week?
Ooh, we charted all over the place, as we do here on Intercut. Shout out to our loyal listeners in Slovakia holding it down. Shout out to our listeners in Czechia, in the UAE, in Thailand, in Singapore, in Poland, in Switzerland, in Netherlands, in Ireland, in Norway, in Spain, in Germany, in Australia, in Canada, in the UK, and of course, right here in the United States of America.
Fire. Don't forget to leave us a comment, drop a like, follow the socials over on Intercut Pod. And until next time, hit that bell icon, or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's going to host the Oscars.